Stephen Francis is arguably one of the best track coaches in Jamaica at the moment. But with him and throughout his career, we see a common denominator. Most of his top athletes eventually end up leaving him to either be coached by a spouse or a new track club.
Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports DTM, the sports channel where we call sports down the middle. You can expect the latest in sports news, views, and reviews from our resident analysts. No sports topic is too controversial, and no team or player is above criticism. So just smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our balanced offering of riveting sports content. And don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Welcome to Sports DTM.
Greetings, Sports DTM fans, and welcome to another episode of Sports Down the Middle, your channel of undiluted sports content. Now, Coach Stephen Francis, the coach of double Olympic champion Elaine Thompson-Herah, has responded to reports indicating that Thompson-Herah is set to leave the MVP track club and also himself as our coach, ending their long-standing relationship. But before we get into the details, we see that you have been watching and liking our videos. We also want you to be a part of the Sports DTM family. So click that subscription button and hit the notification bell, and welcome to the Sports DTM family. Now, as we do a follow-up to our earlier story, which indicated that the double Olympic champion Elaine Thompson-Herah had written to MVP indicating that she wants to leave the MVP track club and Francis as her coach, news has emerged that Francis has responded in a terse manner. Francis told local media that, in short, I would not be surprised if she's not here. I don't know if she's going to be here, but neither do I for anybody else in her situation. It is also reported that Francis has indicated that what my experience tells me is that athletes in general, especially those who come from a low expectancy level, in other words, not much was expected of them, they are usually unable to separate themselves from the people who hop onto their various bandwagons. They tend to have short memories, and they tend to listen to people they just meet or who have been around them since they became successful or famous, and they usually, from my experience, have a very great influence. It takes a smart and strong athlete to sit back and say, you guys weren't around, so leave me, let me make my decision. I wonder who is Stephen Francis throwing those darts at. He's also quoted as saying, being successful, you tend to want to see those types of things happen to you, and again, the athletes lose focus on what their accomplishments are and focus on things that I would call at best the frills. So we do have problems with those people who do not like to be around competition at their camp. Francis is quoted as saying, this is interesting because we also understand that Thompson-Herah may be coached by her husband, who himself is a track coach at one of our local schools. And this is interesting for an athlete who has been with her coach for a long time. Analyst, give me a feedback on this. Talk to me. What do you think about Stephen Francis's response? How do you think Elaine Thompson and her camp is taking this? What do you think about the thoughts of her husband taking over? Let me hear your thoughts now.
Yeah, I think every person's or every teacher's or anybody who mentors somebody always want to see the best out of an individually. But sometimes the teachers and sometimes the mentors they push the button too much. We see after the Olympics when she run and did a personal best, he was say it was not perfect. You understand, it was not perfect. Maybe you see room for improvement. You understand? I have nothing. I may not. I have nothing to say for that. But if it was her personal, but it's not perfect. Maybe you see, she has a potential. I remember going to school. Teacher always write on your report card. I remember when you go to school, teacher, you have the potential to do more. You have the potential to do more. And sometimes you put in not all the best. So you wonder if it's a word that they make up and say you have the potential. You have the potential, even when you do, even when you buck. You understand? But I see some comments where he was making, and those comments, my reading through those comments when he was saying, it's like he was looking down at her, like people coming from a low place, and when they reach a certain place or a certain way in life, they can't handle it, and they always listen to other people. They don't listen to the people that they were down when they were down in the slump. But when they're at high now, they start listening to other people, and they tend to forget that where they're coming from, or is one of his quotations that they have no memories. Now I think he's being very arrogant right there. Yeah, Stephen Francis, very arrogant, and I think that was a very that those comments where he was made in was very disrespectful. Like he was saying she's coming from somewhere low, and she must remain low. No, people have goals. You understand? And if they go to point one to point two, and they decide that they can go high and they can maximize what they can get. It's their choice to maximize. We are living in a world that you have to maximize everything you get, because nothing is promised to you for tomorrow. You understand? Nothing is promised to you for tomorrow. They always say humble craft, suck more milk or get more milk. If you stay humble, you get more. No, sometimes it don't work like that. If you can't take away the whole of the cow, then brother, you take away the whole of the cow, then brother. If you have the opportunity to take the whole of the cow, take the whole of the cow. You understand? It's not the time for you to stay one place for and he's saying that in defense of his club. He's losing one of his best athlete. His prized possession. He don't know when he can possess that one. You understand? Shelly Fraser left him, and now Elaine left him. He don't know what any more potential is there. And he was saying that people don't like competition. If people don't like competition, that may have other people to replace her.
Throughout the years of Stephen Francis being at the MVP track club, we notice a common denominator with regards to the top athletes that end up in his care. They eventually leave. I don't know if this is a sign that the athletes are not cooperative, or they get starstruck and start to hype and leave. I don't think that is the case, right? Because some of the best athletes in the world who've run some amazing times end up leaving this man's care, leaving his coaching team, finding somewhere else to be coached by a spouse or another track club. Is something wrong with these athletes? I don't think so. The common denominator here is Stephen Francis, and I think something is wrong with him. He's an excellent coach, but probably his attitude is a major turnoff to these athletes. Probably he has a domineering style of coaching, which bears down on the athletes who eventually crack and decide that they can't take this anymore. Probably he has a dictator attitude, where he tells them what to do and they can't do otherwise. And as a professional athlete, or in a professional overall, that would be heavy on any athlete. And I believe that the athletes leave him because they want to have a proper mental space. And so I think what is wrong here is Stephen Francis. We can see especially him saying that Elaine Thompson-Herah doesn't like competition. If there is competition at a club, you as the head coach should be able to organize your team, to organize your athletes, to say, all right then, you do this, you do that, all right then, let us try this, all right, you run against you, right? You build persons as a head coach, as a manager. You manage the resources you have to the best of their abilities, and I don't think Stephen Francis has been doing this well over the years in terms of groupings. Individually, excellent, but group wise, trouble.
There you have it, sports DTM fans, another episode of Sports Down the Middle. Coach Stephen Francis, the coach of double Olympic champion Elaine Thompson-Herah, in a terse response, indicating that he does not usually reveal, or is not in the habit of revealing, communication between himself and his athletes. However, he expects that practice will start back in October, just after Heroes Weekend, and his philosophy is usual to see who turns up. He also stated that he can't tell us whether Elaine Thompson-Herah is going to show up, but what he can tell us is that he's going to sit back and see what happens in the middle of October. Fans out there, let us hear what you think about this developing situation, about this standoff, about this breakup between Elaine Thompson-Herah and MVP Track Club and Stephen Francis. Let us know here whether you think that this was expected, whether it was a shocker. Leave all those comments in the comment section below. Let us hear what you think about Thompson-Herah husband being a potential coach for her. Leave all those comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell all of them friends to come and join the Sports DTM family. This has been another episode of Sports Down the Middle. Be blessed.